Because this legislation is so balanced and sensible, it's already attracted a remarkable coalition of consumer and environmental groups, labor and business leaders, Democrats and Republicans. It's pretty sensible. Now, my preference, and the preference of many members of Congress, is to do that in a balanced, comprehensive way by making sensible changes to entitlement programs and reforming our tax code.
Let's honor the conscience of those who disagree with abortion and draft a sensible conscience clause and make sure that all of our health care policies are grounded not only in sound science, but also in clear ethics, as well as respect for the equality of women. Those are things we can do.
And I think that we can come up with a sensible, common sense way that's not disruptive, that still has room for insurance companies in the private sector, but that does not put people in a position where they are potentially bankrupt every time they get sick. Now, because this legislation is so balanced and sensible, it's already attracted a remarkable coalition of consumer and environmental groups, labor and business leaders, Democrats and Republicans. And the idea that is being debated in Congress right now is that a good way to ensure that people don't have these big Cadillac plans, but instead have more sensible plans? Now, I don't think it, and by the way, that also raises some money.
And we hope we don't have to use it for a long time, but I think it's something that is sensible. And I suspect that once we get into the fall and people look at the actual legislation that's being proposed, that more sensible and reasoned arguments will emerge, and we're going to get this passed.
For a panel of experts to say, why don't we have all the specialists and the doctors communicating after the first test, and let's have electronic medical records so that we can forward the results of that first test to the others. That's a sensible thing to do.
That lack of sensible rules of the road, so often opposed by those who claim to speak for the free market, ironically led to a rescue far more intrusive than anything any of us, Democratic or Republican, progressive or conservative, would have ever proposed or predicted.
Notice that? The spending in your district tends to seem pretty sensible. I would love to see more restraint within Congress. I'd like to work on the earmarks reforms that I mentioned in terms of putting earmarks online, because I think sunshine is the best disinfectant. But
there are those who suggest that the only way government can promote strong markets is to allow them to operate wholly outside even the most modest rules of the road, even the most sensible reforms.
We, over the course of the last year, have been in constant conversations with them about setting up a sensible system in which we are prosecuting, where appropriate, those in Article III court.
Having said that, we agreed that there must be some sensible common ground.
We want to see to it that our contribution is bringing about a success, is encouraging other people to now see we wish to live in a democracy. This is good, this is sensible.
Demanding that people come together and find common ground, that we have a sensible, balanced approach that's based on facts and evidence and us reasoning things out and figuring out how to solve problems, and asks everybody to do their part. What sets us apart is that we've always not just had the capacity, but also the will to act, the determination to shape our future, the willingness in our democracy to work out our differences in a sensible way, and to move forward, not just for this generation, but for the next generation. And so he decided not to put Noah in what would have been a more sensible place.